Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Sam Dennehy, aka Halfass Customs, and this is Halfass Presents, the podcast. Tonight's special guest is Lou Wee, all the way from the west coast of the United States for right now. Lou, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got in the hobby?
Oh, ain't much to tell about myself. I'm me, man. Lived
Well,
overseas for. Go ahead there.
I was gonna say, yeah, just like tell us, who you are and I guess where you've been, and then you know, when did you get in the hobby, and what keeps you for the most part in the hobby?
Oh man, I grew up in Tennessee. Lived there for almost 40 years. Moved to the Philippines almost 7 years ago. Lived there and about died with heart attacks and kidney failures, and that brought me back here. And now I'm stuck in Washington State, where I'm here, alive, transplant. Everything now about all I can do is make models to enjoy life. So that's what I do. Been messing around with cab molding and casting. Well, my brother has for, oh God, I don't know how many years he's done it. And I got into it when I was living overseas a lot, just because living in the Philippines, oh gosh, getting models and stuff, it is literally over. It's a 48-hour trip to buy a model if I wanted to visit a hobby shop, because I had to drive 4 hours, have an hour and a half airplane flight to Manila, the capital, go to the hobby shop, get a hotel for the night, and then repeat the process to come home the next day.
Oh my
So yeah,
gosh.
I figured out, okay, I think I'm going to get serious about molding. So I picked my brother's
Yeah.
brain and imported some silicone from America, and it just went from there.
Yeah, I
I've
know.
dabbled in it with my brother over the years, but no, I really got serious about it when I was living overseas, because just the scarcity of hobby supplies is ridiculous. And then you take model trains, and there was one Facebook page in the Philippines when I got there for model railroads, and it only had 46 members. I was
Oh
number
wow.
47, and over half of those were foreigners.
Right.
So yeah,
Jeez.
it was a very small market over there. So I really got into rosin casting a lot.
Well, yeah, I know when I think you first started, at least my awareness of you doing that, I instantly hit you up, and I remember sending some stuff your way out there in the Philippines, and it took absolutely forever to get there. But it eventually did, and
Yeah,
it eventually got back to me once everything was done on your end.
yeah.
But
It was a long,
yeah,
drawn out process, but you got some of that nasty old stuff.
hey,
I
best for
think
rat
I've
rod
improved a
stuff.
little bit.
Rat rod and junkyards, you can't go wrong with any of that stuff. It's perfect.
Absolutely.
And that's what's crazy. Like I never ever cared at all how they would come out, because I knew I could still use it.
Yeah.
So it was all good on my end, like however it ended
Yeah,
up
for
being.
rats and hot rods and stuff, all those little bubbles and blemishes and dimples and all that don't matter.
Right.
But I like to think I've improved a little bit since
Oh
the
no, you
beginning.
definitely have. I have some of your newer stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's much better. But that's
Don't
what's
worry.
cool though. Like you can learn from where you started to where you are now, and
Oh,
know how to do things better.
oh yeah. Well, don't worry. I still got a box up here on the shelf behind me for you. I'm
Awesome. Good.
slowly adding junk to it.
Good,
One of
because
these days, I'll put a shipping label on it for you.
I'm slowly running out of your stuff, the old stuff I have. But because I think honestly, I remember maybe a year. No, it had to been. I don't know. It was when I paid you I gave you like a good down payment on anything and everything you could make for me. I said, just whatever you want to throw in there, just do it. And I got this big box, probably had like 100 different cars, parts, and everything in it. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Love
Yeah.
it.
And
And
it's all junk to me. It's not something I could sell to somebody that they'd want to paint up. I mean,
right. Well,
what's 100 pieces of junk out of my junkyard? I'll have 100 more next year.
yeah.
I mean, it's as careful as you are casting, you're still going to have blemishes. That's the way
Oh yeah.
production of
It's
anything is.
yeah.
And if I want true junk, okay, I'll intentionally mess it up. But even over the course of just casting, trying to get good stuff, there's still going to be little hiccups and problems. So it's like, okay,
Well,
yeah, sent
and
you
then
one box, and you mentioned earlier that you're getting low. So yeah, I got another box getting ready for you.
sweet. That's what I like. Yeah, well, I mean, the test of any true good modeler is to be able to take what one person can't sell or can't fix, like just a normal person, and then you can actually turn that into like gold or something. That's
Yeah.
that's the test of a true modeler right there. And I think even if you keep it as a rat rod and keep all the defects and all that stuff in it, you can still, if you have the skills, make that thing look awesome.
Yeah. Well, the
And
skills are part of it, but you got to have vision too,
oh,
because
definitely vision, definitely.
yeah, there's a lot of vision that goes into modeling.
And
Whether it's cars, trucks, trains, planes, whatever. I mean, if
right,
you don't have vision of what you want, how are you going to achieve it?
exactly. Um, and that's one cool thing I've seen with you is not only do you cast it, but then you build what you've casted. And I know when I was first getting into this scale, that was all that I did was build hot rods customs. And then eventually I got into the lowrider side once I found the wheels for the lowriders. Um, but I quickly found that you decided to dabble your hand into hot rods and customs too. And I thought that was so cool because there's only like a handful of us that build more than maybe two. Because the people that are building one or two, they're just literally testing their skills to see if they can even do it. And then they're
Yeah.
done. They said, I've done it. I don't need to ever do it again. I'm happy with it. But you continue to build cool little hot rods, and you have little I even like your old stuff, like the 30s Jordan kits that you've resined, and then you're building into like just really old, rusty
Yeah, just
looking stock stuff.
yeah,
I mean,
just
that's the
50,
beginning of a rat
60
rod.
style drivers.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
those you do a pretty good job. I mean, I like the fact that you're doing them, and I love the fact that you decided to cast the Jordan kits because those things are going
Well,
for good money now.
I've always had a passion for that style automobile, 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, always have. And I remember buying my first Jordan for like I want to say it was $1.50 or $1.70 from Caboose Hobbies in Denver. That's been, oh my God, 85, 86 maybe.
Back when
And
they were that
a
price.
long time ago. Yeah. It's been decades ago and I still got it, but
That's awesome.
it's good for parts.
So you got a 187 scale Jordan back in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Um, is when did you get into modeling?
Um,
Just in any
I've
scale.
I've been building model cars since, oh my gosh, we moved to Tennessee in 83. So 83, 84 is when I started building my first model cars. I had my first HO train set in 81 or 82, and I had
Oh,
my first Radio Shack radio controlled Sherman tank in 79 or 80.
okay.
And I've been dabbling in just hobbies in general ever since. RC cars. I got my first hobby grade Tamiya Wild Willies in 1984. Still got it sitting on the shelf in Tennessee. And
Wow.
I just got my kids a brand new buggy a couple years ago, and it's sitting right over here on their table.
That's
And
awesome, man.
my models, I've been doing it ever since. One of my 64 scale buddies, he put up a model car. Actually got it right here,
Oh, okay.
1958 Chevy,
Yeah,
and
that's a good kit right there.
oh, that's one of my favorites. I built that sucker, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago. I built it, and buddy of mine put pictures up for sale. He listed it and vintage kit and showed the pictures. It's like, oh my God, somebody took a 2-inch wide wood chisel and tried to chisel off the trim on the side to make a smooth side,
Oh my
custom, and
gosh.
it's waved and gouged. And it's like, that's just the perfect beginning for dents. I'm going to take a wire wheel and a Dremel and gouge it out a little more and rough it up and just
Nice.
probably end up making a little beater of a steel with a 6-cylinder in it. And I don't know, it might happen in the next 10 years or so.
Hey, at least you have it though. I know when I got into this hobby, this scale hobby, the 187 scale, I kept all my the 125th scale model cars I had just in case I got the niche or the itch to want to, you know, jump into the other scales. I have all my Hot Wheels still, so I could jump into that scale. And I'll tell you what, I think I got into this scale in 2013 or 2014. And when I did, I jumped full ahead into it and I didn't stop. I didn't build any other scale. I just kept with this scale. And then I'm part of a lot of 125th scale groups on Facebook. And one of them were having a build off, like a 3-month long build off for
Yeah.
the end of the year last year. And saw that and I said, I've got this 62 station wagon, all resin kit that I really want to do up. I want to take the AMT 62, the all plastic one with all the detail parts, and I want to swap the bodies to that chassis and that interior and make something wild. And I built that thing in a month, but I built it for the first time since like 2013. I hadn't built a 125th scale kit. And I didn't win that contest, but um, but it really got me back into that scale, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I
Nice
didn't sell
refresher.
nothing or get rid of it.
Yeah, I've still got most of mine. You make a 6-hour drive up to Ewing, Virginia. I tell you the combinations to the buildings. You can go see what I still got in stores back east.
Don't tempt me. You might be missing stuff pretty soon.
I tell you what, you take a 30-foot box trailer, you got to ship a bunch to me.
You know what?
I'll
I'd
hook
do it,
you up,
man.
but you got to ship a bunch.
I'd do it. I don't have no problem with that. Um, that's awesome that you have that much stockpile in models.
if
I don't have that
if
much.
it ain't been stolen and sold, I mean, I still got a bunch.
Yeah, I
Shoot,
never really had that much. I
still
had that.
sitting on the farm in Tennessee. Last time I checked Google Satellite, they still over 130 cars sitting there.
Oh
Real
my
cars,
gosh,
real cars.
that's like my dream backyard.
I've always dreamed of a junkyard. Before I moved to the Philippines, I sold off over 250.
Wow, that's crazy.
Um, 2 years ago, when I Google searched Suzuki Samurais, 25 Samurais, I sold 25 or 27 as a bundle on Craigslist. Oh, 7, 8 years ago. And yeah, 2 years ago when I Google search for fun, it was still in archives. You could still find the ad.
Oh wow. Well, what's
But yeah,
crazy
I've been
is this
vehicles been my life.
yeah, well, it's been my life too, but more in the model side, not the real side.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, after I moved out of Tennessee, moved to the Philippines, real cars wasn't really an option. So
right.
I kind of concentrated on models, and with the lack of availability of models, I had to do something. So I got into the casting and molding. And after I ended up back in Washington, we're renting a house in the middle of town. So
Oh wow.
guess what? I can't have a project car. So
Right.
with this operation on my arm, I've got to be careful not to blow my arm out. Otherwise, that's emergency surgery. So I don't have a motorcycle now. I don't have a dirt bike, don't have a four-wheeler. The only chance I have of going off-roading again is to take my wife's Grand Cherokee. Oh, that's not going to work very well.
No,
When
I
she
don't think she'll
finds
like
out,
that.
yeah, when she finds out, I'll lose what little hair I've got left on my head.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So, needless to say, I got to live through my models, and it's just the only thing I got now.
Well, I'll tell you what, even though that seems to be all you got, plus you're still alive, that's not a bad, that's not a bad ending. And it's not even an ending. It's like the middle or something. Maybe three
Well,
quarters of the, I don't know. Depending
I,
on how long
I,
you live, it could, that could literally be the middle. And that's still a good place to be, just to still have something. Cause
well, I've got a very, very different outlook than many people on life. I was cursed with bad kidneys. Autoimmune is what caused it. I had kidney failure at 18. Luckily,
wow.
they kicked back in gear. My nephrologist in 1993 said I'd be good for a kidney transplant in 8 to 10 years. Here it is, 25 years later, I got my transplant. So, yeah,
That's
in
awesome.
1993, I accepted it. I'm dead. I don't know when, but I'm dead. I die tomorrow. So what? I'm
Right.
not going to worry about it. I've lived a good life, lived the best
Yeah.
one I know
That
how.
that's actually the
But
best way to look at it.
at the end of the day, the only reason I'm still here and alive is because of my wife and kids, my family, my loved ones. If it wasn't for them, I'd been dead a long time ago. So people say, "Oh, you're alive." Yes, so. But now
For now.
I've had so many near death experiences out of my sheer stupidity through life, as well as legitimate health problems. It don't scare
Yeah.
me, man. I've
Yeah, I'm not
accepted it. We're all
I'm not
gonna
afraid to
go,
die.
and it's just one of them things. I'm gonna enjoy life to the fullest every day that I know how. And
Yeah.
you've sent me messages. I mean,
Right. Yeah, no, I'm
we've
not
talked.
afraid neither. I look at it the same way you do. Like, is you I've got two kids, a wife, a house, cars. I've done, I think, what I'm supposed to do in my life for responsible wise. I've got a great job that pays me, well, okay, I've got a decent job that pays me decent money, but enough, excuse me, enough to afford to live comfortably.
Yeah,
Um,
you,
and
bills are
the
paid.
kids are
There's roof over
spoiled.
your head and food in the fridge.
Right. The kids are completely spoiled, don't know how to earn a dollar to save their life, and it's a better life than I had at their age, and that's what you hope as a parent to do to your kids is give them a better life than you had, and I've
Amen to
done it.
that.
So I could go
Me
at any
too.
time and be okay with it.
Amen.
But back to models.
Yeah.
um, so you got into models back in the early 80s. That I got into the models into the early 90s. Um, I I want to say that I always kind of thought we were relatively within 10 years of age, close to each other.
Well,
I'm
I'm
40.
I'm
Um,
46.
okay, I didn't get into models that young.
Yeah.
I know my my dad or my uncle got me a Lamborghini Diablo 125th scale model when I was like 7. I glued it all together with this big, huge glue stick. Um, the regular old like 80s 90s style model tubes or
Yeah.
model glue tubes, um, and I glue bombed the whole thing, built it, and then spray painted the whole thing after it was built, so it was all black, even the windows and the rims and everything. And I said,
Well,
this is definitely not for me. I'm not building, I'm not doing models no more. And then I saw a lowrider bicycle model car magazine, and they were making lowriders in the model cars, and I was like, holy crap, I found what I
yeah.
want to do forever
Gotta
now.
do it.
Yeah, and that's what got me back into modeling, or got me into it, period. And then I thought, when I joined this scale, I said, I've been looking ever since I started this scale. I think when I built the first lowrider in 187 scale, it was probably 3 years or 4 years after I was into this scale. And it only took me that long because I knew I needed a specific wheel. If I couldn't get the wheel, it wouldn't be a true lowrider. It could be a custom lowered car or a lowrider in many other people's opinion just because it's low to the ground, but it's not a low rider. I had to get the right wheels, and I finally found them maybe 2, 3, 4 years later. I instantly sent them to you to cast. Was it you? It was either you or Russell. Russell? I think it was you. Anyways, regardless, you casted these spoked wheels for me that are really tiny and they looked perfect on lowrider cars, and
Yeah,
that was it.
you had sent me some a while back. There was like only one or two for the Masters in the real small one that you wanted.
Yeah.
And I've got several more of those in the box here. I've been slowly filling them old when I got leftover rosin, and I got some here for you still yet.
That's great. Because I will tell you, I've completely run out of those and I've been out for a little while.
Oh,
So I
you
haven't
should have
built.
said something, man.
Well, I was gonna say something, but at the same time, I didn't. I knew. I knew in your post you were going through certain things back as soon as I ran out, and I didn't want to bug you. So I figured once you were done, settled, and it seemed like you were relatively okay, which is, I think, around now, relatively okay. I was
Yeah.
going to hit you back up. So,
Relative's a lot of general terms.
right, right. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't go into specifics. um,
Yeah. After over 2 gallons of silicone down the tube in the last 4 months, yeah, I'm
well,
pretty
yeah,
irritated.
yeah. I know what you're saying. Not with resin, but or silicone, but I'm building this model car now. It's a lowrider 125th scale model car, and I went online to get the paint that I needed, and as soon as that paint came, it didn't come with a nozzle. And it's a spray
Oh
can
man.
basically, and the spray can tube that sticks out of the top so the nozzle can fit on top of it didn't come with that either. So I went to my
Oh
other
no.
spray cans that are made by the same company, and I try to take that plastic tube off and it just breaks, so I
Oh
can't
my
replace
God.
that. So I went to Michael's and I bought this glitter paint. It's called like Glitter Blast or something, and it comes out so grainy. It doesn't lay flat
Hmm.
to save its life. And I put so much clear on top of that just so I can sand it down. I've
Hmm.
put 25 coats of clear on this car, and
Oh
I
my
finally
God.
got it relatively flat.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. And that just like you feel irritated by that silicone because you feel like you're wasting it. I
Hmm.
took a whole a whole can of clear and used it just for that one car. I've never done
Oh
that.
man.
And speaking of little cars, I can use a can of clear for months and months and months and months and months and build a car every day and still have clear left. And then this stupid one car took a whole can.
I've had
And I'm
those days.
Yeah, and unfortunately I'm not done because I've got to shoot another coat of clear on it because back before that chrome pin came out for chrome bumpers and stuff, you
Yeah.
used a chrome foil called bare metal foil to get a real good shine. And
I
I've
never
got
could use that stuff. Oh my
yeah,
God.
it's a skill that irritates most people that use it. Um, but I've got to put the foil for the window trim and the body trim on there because I don't want to use the pin for that car. It's too big to really, and I'm trying to get this car to look like perfect. Anyway, so once you put that bare metal foil on there, you got to clear it over there so it just doesn't peel off.
Yeah.
And so I got one more coat of clear to put on this darn car.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've wet sanded it 3 times and cleared it 3 separate days. and waited 10 minutes in between each coat of clear I put on it just to get like 25 coats on there. But I will
Oh
tell you,
my gosh.
it's the nicest model car finish I've ever built so far.
Oh my
And that's
goodness.
in all scales. So
Well, 25
hopefully,
coats of clear, it sounds like.
right. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm about halfway done, I think. So we'll see what happens with that car. But
I tell you, in all honesty, one of the best things I ever did as far as painting goes was getting an airbrush. Oh my gosh, I love
yeah.
it.
So
Sad though,
30 years, 30 years of modeling, and I haven't not touched an airbrush yet. You think I would have figured that out a long time ago, but
yeah. You saw me, baby? Oh, my son's right here. You want to
that's
say,
cool.
come here and say hi to Uncle Sam. Come here, you.
And just know when you get older, you'll be paying me the taxes that you owe. I'm
Nope,
the Uncle Sam.
he took off running. He don't want nothing to
Oh,
do with it.
that's fine.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
got my airbrush years ago, and I tell you what, I wouldn't trade much of anything for it.
well, especially
With,
for
with
what I'm doing, with the candy paint jobs and these
yeah,
graphic paints, I really do need an airbrush because spray can will not pull off any of that.
absolutely. What I tell you what, with the day you get in the market for one, check out TCP Global. Oh my gosh, their paint selections, they go all the way from industrial sprayers all the way down to airbrushes.
Oh wow,
You name it, they got it. And
that's awesome.
it's unreal what they got. And yeah, they're just a wonderful resource to have around.
I think my biggest problem with the whole air airbrush thing is the in between each color you gotta like clean it and you gotta put airbrush cleaner in it to like completely clear so you don't mix the next color with the last color. In a spray can, I just pick up the other next spray can, spray it, put that down, pick up the next one, spray it, and it's done. I think that's my biggest concern with that is the amount of time it takes just to paint two different colors
Yeah.
or a color and clear, is that cleaning process in between. I don't know.
Well,
I'll eventually
I,
get there maybe.
I used to despise it, but it got to the point where it's like, okay, depending on what temperature is, it's been too cold all summer here for me to spray. I mean, I hate it here. Can't do anything outside. It's just cold. But last summer, I could lay down a base coat and set it up, let it start tacking up, clean out my airbrush, and go fix a sandwich. By the time I come back in the garage, and it's almost ready to lay clear on it.
So
Sometimes if I wasn't in a hurry, I just let it sit up overnight. And a lot of
so
the
with
other stuff I do, I don't even clear it. I use flats and make
right,
junk
right.
out of it. And half the
So
time I don't even have to worry about clear.
with your modeling, do you do it mostly in your garage then, or all of it in your garage?
For 2 years I did, and then after I got my transplant, I started moving it in the living room so I could do something in the house where it was warm. I got a nice, huge industrial shop propane heater, and I was using that out here a year ago. Well, almost a year and a half ago, and I would have done it last year, but a year and a half ago, um, I was out here, I don't know, 6, 8 hours, had the garage door open to the outside, I don't know, 2 feet, and the walk door going in the house. And the next couple of days just felt bad and tired and just crappy overall. I was talking to the nurses at dialysis, and they said, "What'd you do?" And I told them, they said, "You probably got carbon monoxide poisoning." And it's
Oh
like,
wow.
oh, wait a minute. Maybe I don't need to sit in the garage for 8 hours on end with a propane heater on high. So,
Right. I
needless to
would not even have
say,
thought of that.
needless to say, I did not work in the garage this past winter. And even now in the summer, when it's actually 65 degrees in a day, I'm not even firing the heater up. I'm not doing it.
Well, this is why I asked because you said this year's been too cold, and seeing that you're painting with an airbrush, I would assume for most of your stuff. Um, I could definitely see how it would be too cold and it just take too long and it just wouldn't be worth doing a lot. But I
Yeah.
found even when it gets down into the teens out here in North Carolina, and I don't want to stop modeling or stop painting just because of how cold it is, I found out tricks that you can still paint with it being like 14 degrees outside, and it'll be just fine as long as you do it in a fast enough manner. So like if you heat up and I use spray cans, so it's not like I'm taking a lot of time to set it all up and then clean it to get to the next thing or whatever. But I never, and I'm not trying to brag when I say it, I'm just more of a inquiry. I never have like a downtime for whatever my weather is out here because I figured out how to trick the paint, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that when I first moved here 3 years ago. I did that with a 35th scale RC car or RC truck I had, and had everything in the house full room temperature, and step out on the front porch, hose it down real quick, step back in, and let it tack up for an hour, and then go back out, put on another coat, and
Yeah,
yeah, the paint was bulletproof on it, but with I've never been real good with spray cans, so I just avoid them. I've got four or
makes
five
sense. I
spray
mean,
cans here, and I just don't like them. It's
yeah,
got to
it's not
where
for everybody.
everything I've built since I got my transplant, absolutely everything's been done with honest to God watercolor paint. 50 cent a bottle Apple brand, Apple Barrel from Walmart, a bunch of that, and I've got 4 or 5 colors from Hobby Lobby, but it's all acrylic water-based paint,
Oh wow.
and been doing good. And I paint directly onto the rosin or directly onto the rosin, wash the rosin and wash the castings in soapy water, or even dip them in acetone for a second. If I got my acetone bottle, if acetone's clean in my bottle, if I got a clean bottle, I'll just dip the parts in there real quick and let them air dry and just lay my water paint right down on it. Now you got to be a little careful handling it afterwards because it's water-based paint on rosin. I mean,
Right.
it will rub off, but um, everything you've seen me post, everything I did for Espen Marsh, and I've done a couple for a couple other people since Christmas time. Every bit of it's been watercolor with a paintbrush.
That's neat, man.
And once I get the color base color on where I want it, I just got an aerosol can of flat clear from Walmart, and I just hose it down heavy.
Yeah. I do
Hose it
that
down,
with
set it up, let it dry overnight, and that's when we go to town.
a lot of the rat rods. I'll do the clear flat or flat clear and I'll put it down heavy so I can have the paint run. So it looks
Yeah,
like it's like I'll do like the base coat, which is like a primer gray or a brown or whatever, and then I'll do like a black on top of that or whatever color, and then I'll hose it down real quick with the clear so the clear will run the colors together so it looks like a rat rod.
yeah, yeah. Just natural blending.
Right, right. And I like that because I mean there's companies out there in this scale, 125th scale or 164 scale and then 187 scale that make like decals for rust and or they have little um they have like these round jars that got like dust
Yeah,
dirt in them or something that you can
yeah.
paint on there and
Mhm.
brush. And you know, that can make it definitely look more real, more detailed. But if you know how to manipulate paint well enough, it can do the same process.
Yeah,
And you don't need any of that stuff.
I'm pretty good with the paint, but now I was blessed. One of my buddies, he had a bunch of Ames brand weathering powders. He used to have a hobby shop, and it's just leftover stock he couldn't sell. So,
Oh
needless to
wow.
say, I built several things to his liking, the way he wanted it, and we were in constant contact. Okay, you want the fender bent more? You want the rust darker? You want the dirt lighter? And I built it exactly how I wanted. And yeah, he traded me a bunch. Well, let's see. I'll turn around here to my cabinet. Here's only part of it.
Oh, okay.
I've got what 6, 8 containers there, and another 5 or 6 containers in the house. But yeah, he hooked me up on weather and powder and several other things, and yeah, it was a wonderful trade for both of us. He got a
That's
bunch of
awesome.
cars he liked, and I got some powders, and oh, I tell you what, it works wonders.
Yeah, that's a cool little setup you got in your garage too, though. We can see it in the background, and it looks
Oh,
pretty neat. I like your shelving with your
oh,
paints, and
thanks.
I don't have like here in North Carolina, it's either too cold in the winter or way too hot in the summer for me to do anything in my garage, and you only have maybe 3 weeks of perfect weather during
Yeah,
fall and spring, and I don't do nothing in my garage. So everything, I mean, except for paint. I will go run out there and paint something real quick and then jump back in the house and I do the rest of my building. Um, I don't have a setup like yours. And then I created one and I never used it
yeah,
because I don't have a TV in my hobby room and I watch a lot of TV when I'm building. A
yeah,
lot of hot rod shows or whatnot, anything
yeah,
car related on Velocity or Motor Trend TV or whatever it is. Yeah, I just watch a lot of car show stuff, and then I'm building my hot rods or customs at the same time. So I do a lot of my building in my bedroom where my TV is, and
yeah,
I'll do nothing here. But here's what's funny. So the little room or the desk that I made for this room, it has my module hooked up or has my module on it. So there's my modules. So that's what's sitting on is 2 desks here and a corner desk here, and then I put an old table on top. You can see this door handle right here.
yeah.
That's what the modules sit on. And then I got this corner desk here that I was planning on using as my model table. And now it's where I do my interviews. So I still don't build in here, but that was the plan though. The plan was to
Oh,
build in here, but I don't have a
oh,
TV.
I
I don't
heard
have a,
that.
yeah, and I don't have a
I'm
cable cord to hook a TV up. So I'm just going to continue building in my bedroom.
Oh, I understand. Well, I'll show you my work area. Here's my work area in the garage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, I haven't been out there in like 8 months, so needless to say, it's turned into a mess. I'm walking into the living room now, and here's my living room work area.
Hey, I like that. See, I don't even have that in my bedroom. I have literally a 2 foot by 2 foot table I do all my builds on.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have a couch sitting
Well,
right in front of my bed, and then my TV sits about 4 feet or 5 feet from my 2 by 2 table.
oh, I understand. Right here's my normal work area,
Yeah, that's cool though.
but
Even
what
though it's a
once it,
mess, you have one that you can
yeah,
use.
yeah, but once it gets filled up, everybody piles stuff up. I've got this little pull-out shelf on his desk right here,
Oh, nice.
and that's my entire work area.
You know what though?
In
But if you can get what you need done with it, then it's perfect.
I try.
Because I get all
I
my work
try.
done with that 2 by 2 table. Maybe it's 3 by 3 table. It's not very big. It's a small table. And I have a box full of my tools that I've had for the last 20 years. And I don't have anything new. And then I have all my crap laid out on the table in front of me. And then I have, here's what's crazy. This is how you know you got a good wife. We have this big, tall, skinny dresser that came with our bedroom set. And we were able to scram all of our clothes either hanging up or on I guess the normal size dresser,
Yeah.
the longer dresser that would come with a bedroom set. We crammed all our clothes in there and all of it's hanging up. So that big tall one can now be for all the crap I store for my models. She goes, here, take this whole dresser and fill it up. So I have that as my storage spot in the corner of my bedroom. So what's
Oh
not on the
wow.
table just gets stored back into the drawers once I'm done and I move on to the next.
Yeah, my wife keeps fussing at me. Don't go getting all this stuff. We rent this place. We might live in an apartment next year. So yeah, everything I have here, tables, desks, everything, I acquired for free.
That is the best way to
I
get it.
I live in a Navy town, man. You get people coming in and leaving, transferred, sent off to whatever God forbidden war zone we're in this week or next week, and yeah, there's stuff constantly being given away here. People got to move, and that's it. They got to be gone. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not against going up picking up free furniture when they throw it out on the sidewalk with a big free sign.
hey, that's exactly how I got both of those display cases. They had them
Absolutely,
outside. They were getting rid of them. I said, "Oh no, no broken glass, no chipped wood everywhere. I'm taking it." And I grabbed the
absolutely.
van and I went and got it like right as soon as I passed it. And I said, "It's mine now."
Yep. Check out this big wide shelf behind me with the glass
That is,
shelves in it.
oh wow, nice.
7 feet long, left to right.
What?
Almost quarter-inch thick glass shelf. Well, here's how thick the shelf is
Oh
compared
wow.
to a Trident Suburban, and giving it away for free. They said, "Come get it. We don't want it in the garage anymore." I'm like, "Take it off the front. Remove your ad. I'm coming. I'm 15
Right.
miles away."
That
And
is awesome.
she did. Loaded it up, put it on top of the Jeep, brought it home.
I'm gonna show you one more thing. This is in my garage. I did a podcast the other day in my garage. It was during the day, and
Yeah, you're lucky. You got that warm weather out there.
yeah, it's too warm. Excuse the darkness.
I,
Um,
I, do you know what I would give to have that warmth?
yeah, I'm sure you would. So that display case right there
Oh,
um,
wow.
was for Coleman pop-up trailers, and I used to work for a Chrysler dealer that was part of a Coleman pop-up trailer dealer,
Oh,
and they
wow.
had this sitting outside, and it goes all the way to the floor. It's just this table sitting in front of it.
Yeah.
They had it sitting outside. They had the glass out in a bay, in a car bay, with all the shelving and the big glass, and they just had the uh, frame, I
Yeah.
guess.
Just the cabinet.
And I said, "What are you guys doing with this? Because it's been sitting outside forever, and you know, Southern California doesn't rain, so it's not like this was going to rot
Yeah.
to death with water." And they said, "We're not doing anything with it. Do you want it? Why are you asking?" I said, "Hell yeah, I want it." So I took the work truck, I loaded this up, drove it to my house, went back, and it only fits in a garage because it's too tall for a doorway.
Oh,
So I
wow.
wanted this in my house because it's too hot out here. I can't do nothing with this stuff in here. In fact, some of this stuff, like there's a green car right there, and that roof is cream, but it used to be
Yep.
white. So
Yep.
the heat out here and the
Yeah.
cold is fading this stuff really bad.
Yep.
And what I have here is just a bunch of die cast because die cast is going to really get that much worried
Yeah. The
with the
color's a
weather.
little more durable.
Yeah, but the model car stuff that I don't really care about, which is all this stuff, uh, yeah, the weather's just like beating those things to death,
Yeah.
driving me crazy. But I don't have room in my display cases for that stuff. I put my really good prized possessions in my display case, and yeah, I can't get that display case upstairs or in my house because it's too big for the doorway.
Yeah, that sucks.
But you know, who knows?
Something will work out one day.
Yeah, I thought there could be maybe possibly a way, but I didn't. The only way to do it is if I cut it in half and then
Yeah.
like try to rebuild it once it got up here, and I'm not doing that. That's all
That's
just too much work.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'll just leave it because if I rebuild it, I'll probably not build it right, and then it'll just be junk and trash after that.
Yeah. And it's probably a real cabinet that you can't disassemble or anything either. So
Oh yeah, no, you can't.
it's a real one-piece cabinet.
Right. No, it 100% is. And so it just sits in the garage now. And if I was out there where you are, where it's relatively cold or cool most of the time,
Yeah.
I think that would be perfect in a garage setting. But yeah, it's not really good out here. But oh well. I'm thinking about selling that thing. It's just so big because I'm not doing nothing with it.
If
I
they
don't know.
somebody give you something for it, why not?
Hey, you're only what, 3,000 miles away? You want it for free?
If you're gonna bring it out.
Right. I'll put it in UPS mail. I'll have the post office ship it to you. How about that?
No, I prefer you drive. I got a motorcycle in Harrogate, Tennessee. I need brought. I got
Oh
a
yeah?
Yamaha Rhino in Harrogate. I need brought. I got a
Hmm.
'66 Impala. I need brought.
You have a
Yeah,
66 Impala?
if it's
For
still
reals?
there and not sold.
My bud loves a 66 Impala. I love a 66 Impala. Hmm.
I
I
still
don't,
like to envision a dream of me making it back there to get it.
I'll tell you what. If I were to ship that out to you, it wouldn't go to you. It'd end up in my house. I'll be like, yeah, it wasn't there when I stopped by to see. Sorry.
That, that's why my 45 Chevy truck's been moved to the back side of the farm so people can't see it either.
I don't want that one. So, but
There's
yeah,
no
that's,
shortage of them that do want it, though.
oh, no, I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's the cool thing about cars in general is when classic cars will never ever go out of style. Even if they're just sitting like in a junkyard setting, like a car junkyard, graveyard. I mean, that just the scene of a whole bunch of classic cars sitting together is just cool no matter how they look. You do wish
yeah,
you can rebuild them and get them out of the way, but I mean, they're all together. They make for perfect like backdrops, photo shoots, and whatever, and
yeah.
if you never build them and you just end up selling the parts from them, I mean, you got a lot of money sitting there.
Well, even if it's something sentimental and it sits there and you never part with it, at
Right.
least put it on blocks off the ground because so many people leave them sitting on the tires, and in 10 years or 20 years they rot down to nothing. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that burns me up so bad. I
Well, I've
mean,
got a 60
Grandpa
Mercury.
Elmer wants to keep Grandpa Elmer want to keep his car because it's the first one he ever bought. I understand, man. At least put it up on some 2 foot blocks so it don't rot down to garbage.
Yeah. I've got a
And
60
oh,
Mercury
it's
that still
sickening.
has the original bias ply tires. It
Oh
came from a
wow.
one owner, and he never
Oh
drove it
cool.
far enough to need to get new tires. So they're the original from 1960 bias ply.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
have it
we've got
sitting
some
on the
old.
side of my house on cement, though.
Thank God for that.
Right.
Yeah, we've still got. Let's see, 164, 165, and 366 Mercs sitting up in Tennessee.
Wow. That's cool.
Last time I checked Google Images, they were sure Google no,
Right.
Google Earth, whatever satellite imagery is.
Yeah. Well, that's funny you say that you look it up because when you gave me your address in the Philippines, I decided to look that up. And I went to Google Maps, and whether Google Maps was right or not, um, there was it was hard enough because the image over the Philippines wasn't clear as it is in the States.
Yeah,
Um,
very, very dismal imaging over there.
right, but you weren't that close to anything. You looked
Oh,
like you were in
the
the middle of
the
nowhere.
the only thing close to me was the ocean.
Right. Yeah. And then nothing
And the
else.
Catholic Church. I mean, I could spit a loogie and hit the back of the Catholic Church.
Yeah. That and see that you couldn't even tell that that's what that was in Google Maps. That is, you couldn't
Yeah,
tell. I didn't try any other mapping system, but yeah, I
yeah.
thought, let me see if I ever make it out to the Philippines if I could find this house. Yeah, I'm never going there.
Oh, come on.
Well,
I ever get the money, I'm gonna load you up. And we're both gonna go.
okay.
You'll see exactly how enjoyable a life it is if you don't have to have all the luxuries of America.
I
I grew up out in the country in Tennessee. Cell phones were a dream.
oh yeah.
And
Well,
yeah, moving to the Philippines where I actually had cell service was like, my God, this is amazing.
see how funny it is that you actually had cell service in the Philippines, but you didn't really have it in Tennessee.
No, in Tennessee, I had a
That's like
prepaid
backwards.
track phone because I had to drive 15 miles to get cell service.
Gee whiz. So you
That's how
left
far
one
back I
rural
was in
area to go
Hancock.
to another rural area. That
Yeah,
one had cell service though.
exactly.
You had to fly all the way on the other side of the world just to get cell service.
Yep, that's it.
That's crazy.
Once I got 15 miles closer to town, I had cell service.
Yeah, I've always
But
so Southern California is all city unless it's desert, and I've always lived in the city. So when we moved out here to North Carolina, I had to be in a city because that's all the life I knew. So we're in the city of Durham, but if you drive 1 mile up, it's turned like you're into the middle of the country somewhere that doesn't know
yeah,
anything about a city
it
life.
turns country real quick.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is, I've been out here for 13 years now. If I knew then what I know now, I would have moved way out of this stupid city. As much as I like it, it's just getting way too crowded. It's like every single person in the country realized, oh, you could have the same life just much cheaper. Let's move there.
Uh-huh. If you've got a good, decent education to get a decent job, absolutely. You can live for pennies on a dollar compared to what it costs here in Washington or
Right.
Oregon or California.
Yeah. Oh, I'm never
Oh,
moving out to
absolutely.
California. Even if I win the lottery, I wouldn't waste my money on California. I'd go out there
No,
and stay in like
me
a
either.
5 or 6 star hotel, but there's no way I'm gonna buy a house that's just gonna sink into the ocean as soon as that state falls into it.
No, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't even visit. I,
Well, my
okay,
family's out there, so
oh, okay. I got some friends. I'd fly in for the weekend. Honestly, I wouldn't even drive, so
right. Oh no,
I
have a
wouldn't have
helicopter
a
land right
chance
in their
of being.
backyard.
Do what?
Have a helicopter land right in their backyard.
Nah, helicopter's a waste of money. Then I got to get a pilot's license and all that. But if I was go visit my friends in California, I'd fly. I wouldn't even take a chance of driving with just the amount of laws and just the way it is there. I don't want to drive on a California road. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
no way.
it's getting bad, and it's just getting way too
It
crowded.
truly is. And the rest of the country's following suit. California's always been a leader of everything for America.
Well, it's definitely the
And
leader in car culture, and that's the only thing I hate, I miss, I miss about that state is the cars. Being a car guy my whole life, I want all those cars to come out here to this side of the country, and I want the
absolutely.
culture to come with it, and I want the people that own it to come out here.
Yeah.
Everybody else that don't have a classic car can just stay out there and fall into the ocean with that state.
Amen. Yeah, I've spent no shortage of time there, and I'll be honest with you, I ain't got no need to go back.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if it wasn't for my
I
family, I
haven't been
wouldn't
to Alaska
either.
yet, and I haven't been to Maine yet. Other than that, now I've been
Oh,
everywhere.
I've been to Maine. Maine's beautiful.
Oh,
Portland,
I'm
Maine.
sure.
That was it.
I've
It's
been
so
up.
pretty up there.
I've been up Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, but I ain't made it as far as Maine yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I do know that the neat thing about this hobby is it like any model modeling hobby, thanks to the internet, it can literally be done from anywhere in this world almost.
Yeah,
Just like
and
you being in the Philippines, you were able to get resin, so you and people were able to send you stuff so you can cast that stuff into resin so you had stuff to build. And then
yep,
if you needed to wait forever for something else from like an actual train store or any kind of store to get models from, you could send away for it and just wait forever to get it. But that's the neat thing about this hobby, or just hobbies in general, is you can still do it from almost anywhere.
yeah,
And I think that's super important because especially like right now with this pandemic, I was watching the news and they were talking about how the hobbies, now they just put that in general.
Yeah,
Hobbies rose 400% within the first month of the pandemic.
absolutely. What else is people going to do at their free time?
Right. Nothing. And the crazy
Exactly.
thing is, my wife never been into hobbies. Don't have a passion to do anything else besides what she already does. And she tells me daily how bored she is and how she hates working at home because there's nothing to do. And
Yep.
I'm building while I'm on the clock. So I always have something to do, whether it's actually work or if it's my hobby.
Absolutely. There you go.
And the cool thing is now I have something to do in the evening too, my podcast.
There you go. Plenty to
So,
do.
because I don't really build at night because it gets dark and I need the light for it more, with
Yeah.
especially with the small parts we deal with.
Yeah, you need
So
good
I don't really
light.
build at night. I just sit on my butt and watch TV. But this gives me the chance to talk to interesting people that you may only comment to, you never really talk with. So
Yeah,
this is
actually
cool.
get to know people.
Right. Like you. I mean, I knew what you do. I knew what you liked. I've never actually heard your voice, and I've never actually talked to you this long ever. And
What? That's
it's cool.
probably a good thing for you.
I don't know, man. I mean, you and I have a lot in common. And the
Yeah.
more I'm talking to you, the more I hear the amount of commonness that we have.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
She got Goat Simulator, baby. Very good. Tell her thank you.
Yeah.
He's in there. Thank you, mommy.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a sweetie.
But that, I think that's another neat thing about like the hobby in general too, is everybody in this scale so far I've met or talked to or whatever been super nice, super helpful, and willing to help. Not just you can get that part there. Good luck. But no, here, if you do you need help finding it, I'll help
Yeah,
you find it, or I'll help you get it, or I'll help you make it. Thanks,
yeah,
Lou. You know,
yeah,
whatever. Everybody's so nice, and I think that's another neat thing about this podcast is the people that don't know really most people, they're getting to know the person and getting to know how nice
yeah,
that person is with the
yeah.
conversation that I'm
Put the
having
face
with
to
them.
the name out there.
Right. And
Mm.
I mean, you've always been really nice to me, and you've been really nice to a lot of other people because I know when I throw my rat rod build offs, you're like one of the main sources to get stuff from. And you know, you don't have to do that, but you do it, you know,
Yeah,
and that's
just
really
something I
cool.
enjoy.
Yeah, that's what's really cool. And I appreciate it. I know everybody else does. Um, question.
Shoot.
How many resin customers, I guess, well, just customers, do you think you have from around the world? Like, is it just a handful, or do you think
The
there's a
People that
lot more,
actually
probably?
people that have actually just wanted to place an order and buy something. Um,
I mean, they don't
maybe
have to be return
yeah,
customers, just a customer in
no,
general, like,
30 or 40.
oh, well,
Yeah,
that's
not a
not
lot.
bad. I mean, honestly,
No, it
that's
ain't
about as
bad.
many customers as I have.
No,
It's not
it's
much.
not bad. It just I'm proud of the ones I got. They're happy, and if they had a problem, I have no problem sending replacements.
That's
So
cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, too, like your pricing that you ask for your product is on point. I mean, it's not expensive in any way, but it's not like you're just giving stuff away for nothing, you know?
yeah,
At
well,
least from what I can see, from when when
you
we do the Rat Rock contest and you post the price on this product, that's how much it should be. It shouldn't be gouging the customer.
well you look at mine. You look at the quality of my casting I do right now. it doesn't compare to, say, William Radcliffe. You look at his quality casting and you look at mine. Sorry, Ice Cube has a better chance down in Hades than I would of charging that kind of money. That's stupid. At the end of the day, I mean, you look at Radcliffe's stuff, it's gorgeous, worth every cent.
Right.
Sylvan Models, you look at his stuff. Oh, wow. I love that. I finally got my first one here a couple months ago. A buddy of mine sent it to me.
Oh,
Beautiful.
nice.
I'll be getting more of
Yeah.
that for sure.
Though, yeah, he's got
And,
top-notch stuff. I've got a few of his stuff, and they're all just
but
perfect.
one of these days, I'll actually sell something, make some profit, and I'll be getting some more them Sylvan Models. They're nice. I like them.
Yeah,
But
they're 100% worth every penny.
but I look at what's out there as far as production models. You want to buy a model, buy a Jordan model kit to build and put on your train set. What is it? $15 to $30 now?
Yeah, they're about that now.
My God.
And
Okay,
that's only because they're out of business.
yeah, I charge 15 shipped, and most of the times if I got extra junk, you get extra. I
Right.
mean, I can only build so much here myself.
Yeah, well, and that's the crazy thing. Like, I know the end of last year, I think it was around December, I was like, shoot, I've built this many models. I wonder if I can get it up to this mount. And I wanted to get to 200.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
I think I got at 198. And I think it was because, what was it? What was happening? Something happened to where I couldn't build for like a day or two. And I was like, dang it. Oh, what the heck? Come on now. I'm right there. And this year,
Time to get going. It's a new year. See if you can crack that
well,
200 mark.
I had a goal to build 3 modules. I wanted a parking lot module of, I guess it's 3 foot by 2 foot or 4 foot by 2 foot. It's the same size as this backlot tour module.
Yeah.
I wanted the whole module to be one parking lot so I can have car shows on it, have people send cars from around the world, and we could do like photograph car shows.
Yeah.
Haven't built that yet. And I wanted to build my dream garage, which I am building, but that's slow. And then I wanted to build a museum building with like 5 floors
Oh,
and
wow.
have cars just sitting in it. But that was going to be the last module I build of this year. Well, I just started the dream garage a month ago, and I'm now not anywhere close to finishing it. So I don't know that I'm going to get all 3 of these modules done.
Oh, cool.
But that was like the only my only thing I had planned to do. I didn't plan to do anything else. So whatever ends up getting done is all unplanned and just spare the moment. Like those Blues Brothers cars.
Yeah.
I saw those and I was like, well, this has been on my list. I just didn't have a time frame. I might as well get them. So
Might
I
as
just built
well.
them. Yeah. And the only thing that is planned, it's only planned when the customer puts the down payment down. And then that's planned and I got to get that done. So
Oh, yeah.
customer cars, that's the only thing that I have planned besides the modules. And the modules, I can tell you right now, aren't getting done before the end of the year. I
Oh, I
might
know
have
that
one
feeling.
done.
Yeah, I started HOF, I guess they call it, HO on Z track. So
Oh,
HO
like narrow
18,
gauge.
yeah, narrow gauge, HO 18, HO 20. They call it HOF a lot of places, I guess.
Okay.
But I started one, and this here was last summer, and this is as far as it got to.
Hey, that's further
That's
than
where
me.
it's at. Something about a transplant cold weather. No way, ain't nothing gonna happen.
Right. No, it makes
Probably be
sense.
sitting right there next year too.
No, it's
Yeah,
funny
don't feel
because
good. Don't feel bad on the module, man. We're all on the same boat.
it is funny because the Tyco HO scale steam engine I built for the Back to the Future, everybody says that Tyco engine is out of scale. It's bigger than HO scale. And I don't know. I don't have any other steam engines to like actual HO scale steam engines that are right size to compare it with. But if it is out of scale, I don't care. Um, it fits
At,
on the HO track. The car sits on the HO track. It looks right
at,
to me.
at the end of the day, does it look right from the movie to your eyes?
It looks right because I made it look right.
Okay. It don't matter then if
Right.
it don't matter, period. It's yours, you're happy with it.
Yeah. And um, I did a lot of research to get that engine to look as good as it did. So yeah, I'm definitely happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And then, building stuff that's never been built before, that's my specialty. So I'm gonna keep on keeping on.
Absolutely.
So
Only way to do it.
how about you, Lou? You got any future projects that you want to do in the future? Any upcoming projects that you might get to or have started, or is it all kind of like a secret? I know some people don't like showing or telling stuff until it's done.
As far as models go, there's all kinds of things I want to do. Ain't no secrets, but when or if it's ever going to happen, who knows?
Yeah, that makes
I,
sense.
I
I
just,
mean,
I've got a million ideas in my head, and everybody else beats me to it. Um, I'll show you one I've been working on here. Let me find it.
well, yeah, let me know what you
Hold
have
on.
planned so I don't start it before you.
Yeah. Can you see that? Um,
Um, that's better. Yeah, um, kind of. It's a
that's
little, it's a cab, right? Oh, it's a four-door cab?
yeah, 1959 or so Ford Crew Cab.
Oh, okay.
That's the same thing Greg Dixon just come out with, the Crew Cab 59 Ford.
And that's
Um,
what you were working on and he
that,
beat you to it.
this one's been on my desk for over 2 years.
Oh, wow. So you
And
started it before him. He just dug into your head and took it out.
beat me to the punch. What can I say? It happens.
Yeah. That's
But
so funny you say that because I thought I was the first one to complete an actual HO scale Ghostbusters car. Like the actual car, not one that was converted into one, not a Bosch 59 Cadillac two-door turned into an Ecto car, but like the 3D printed one. I thought I was the first one to do one. And then there's a video on YouTube of the Wonderland in Germany.
yeah,
They
they
have an
had one.
Ecto 1 because there's a video called the Easter eggs of Wonderland. And they
Yep,
have
I've
one
seen
with
that.
the Ghostbusters figures. And this was before the Indonesia company came out with the Ghostbusters figures and before 3D printing version came out. I was like, what the
Yeah.
heck? They stole that from my head. How dare them?
No, you're just a copycat, man.
Yeah. Well, they got the DeLorean too. They got two DeLoreans. They got they got Marty McFly. I believe he's on the hoverboard. And
Oh,
I've got the
cool.
flying DeLorean with Marty McFly hanging underneath it. Come on, man.
Mhm.
So yeah, I hear
It's
you.
all good.
Yeah. Although mine lights up, theirs doesn't. So ha ha on them.
Yeah. Yeah, here's another one I've been working on. This is actually 64 scale, but if I ever get good at shrinking, this one's going to be an HO.
Oh, okay. Put the put it angle it down a little bit further, or pull that up higher. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Oh, a COE four door.
Yep,
Oh, I love that thing. That's awesome.
1956, based
Yeah.
on the M2 cab.
Right, right. Yeah, I know that cab. I have one. That's awesome.
I,
Yeah, if you could shrink that, whoo.
yeah, but my shrinking still needs a lot of work.
So then I guess the next step is to contact Claire at Sylvan and say, hey, take this casting and shrink it so you can offer it. You have a bunch of other cabs that are COEs, but you don't have this one, so make it.
Yeah, but nobody ever did this one. Well, some of the railway companies might have done a 3-door, but nobody ever did a 4-door that I'm aware of.
I don't know.
Some
I
of the
know.
railroads have done some real weird 3-door
Hmm.
big cabs like that over the years, even in the COEs, but I've never seen that body style Ford in a 3.
Yeah, I
Yes,
don't.
I have too. Yes, I have. I've got the pictures. It was going around a couple years ago in the car groups. There was a beat up, ratty, nasty crew car, 3-door, 53 to 56 Ford COE. I think it was a COE. It might have been a standard heavy truck with the long
Hmm,
nose. I'd have to
interesting.
go through 3,000 pictures and look, but I've got
Right.
the pic.
Huh.
There was a 3-door in that body style, but I don't remember if it was COE or not.
Well, I know that
But
mad
I've
about
got so many
cars.
thousand pictures saved of real cars for inspiration. I'd
Right.
have weeks worth of looking.
Yeah. I know mad about cars on Shapeway. He's got like 2 or 3 different COEs that he has designed now,
Yeah,
and they're pretty cool. I haven't bought any of them, but I want to. I just
yeah.
I can't pull the trigger on that price.
Well, I he's got some real nice stuff,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's shapeways. You still got print lines to deal with.
Well, I'll tell you what.
If if some of those designers would find somebody with a rosin printer,
Right.
I I I could easily pull 30, 40, $50 for a model like that, even an HO.
Well, I wonder if it
I've
became
got some
that they
rosin
would
stuff.
ask for more
Yeah,
because resin's so much better than
have
the.
you ever got any of the resin stuff that Dana Stratton prints out there in Kentucky?
Um,
He's got
no.
some real nice rosin stuff. Custom model creations.
Yeah, there's.
Ari-
I've looked at his
Arizona,
stuff.
I
There's nothing
think.
I want. It's all commercial related
Yeah.
stuff. I don't do that
Well,
stuff.
some of the big trucks would make a nice rat hauler, but
Yeah,
if
I
it's
don't
not
want to
your
do that
cup of
either.
tea, it's not your cup of tea. But for me, yeah, it all fits in a junkyard.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
No.
here's a nice little plug for Dana Stratton. Um, here's his Kubota he prints.
A Kubota.
Yeah, Kubota RTV.
Oh. Oh. Okay. You had to turn it to the side for me to understand what that was. I got it. Okay.
Yeah,
That's neat.
and look at that grill that's in there, or the push bar.
Yeah. That might be worth getting. I don't know what I'd do with it, but
Hey,
maybe make it an off-road one, like super
that
off-road, big
that
huge truck
no,
tires.
that's what Elmer and Festus are cruising around the rat rod meet in.
Oh wow.
They use lawnmowers at Hershey all the time.
Hmm. Well, I've never been to that show, and I've been dying to go ever since I heard of it.
Oh, I last time I went to Hershey, I was oh God, that's been 80, no, probably 90. No, I was still in high school, so that'd been 88, 89 was the last
Wow.
time I went.
Yeah, they said that you couldn't even if you couldn't even walk through the whole show and actually see everything, not just walk past it and not see it, but see every single thing with a whole entire week of being there.
No,
You would
no,
have to
ain't no
like
way.
skip a whole bunch of stuff to be able to walk through the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta keep walking and just keep looking, and
Yeah,
what you're looking for has to absolutely jump out in front of you, or you see
right.
a vendor with that type of stuff you're looking for.
Yeah,
And then go
yeah,
ask the vendor if he's got it and pray he knows what all he's got.
right. Yeah, that's been
Um,
a bucket
Hershey is
list.
beyond nuts.
Oh, I know. I've seen like the last day of Hershey when everybody's pulling out and it's the most unbelievable thing you will ever see car-wise.
Yeah, stand on the sidewalk and just watch it go.
Right, because it never ends. It's the whole entire
Exactly.
day
Yep.
of, they said what,
What
like 10,000 cars? Is it
I
10,000?
probably more than that, in all honesty. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
I mean, that's them like pulling out, like 10,000 of them pulling out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just insane. I know
Yeah, it's
growing
not.
up in Southern California, I went to car shows every weekend of my whole life, pretty much. And the biggest car shows maybe only had like a good guy show, only had like 3,000 to 4,000 cars.
Yeah.
That's just because the venue could only hold that much. So to go to something that had like 10,000, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Hershey's, it's unbelievable. It's just, my Lord.
Now, if we can
It's
get,
like a fat man in a candy store with $10 million.
right, yeah. Now, if we can get like a toy show that was dedicated to toy cars and they had every scale, and you had the money to stay out there for a week and it lasted like a whole week. You found
Yeah.
anything and everything you ever wanted in toy cars. Ah,
Well, that's the sad thing I see about our entire hobby of cars is everybody is dedicated to, well, so many are, not everybody, so many are dedicated to their own specific scale they like, and all other scales be damned. Pardon my French, but the rest of the scales just don't matter, period.
right.
And that, honest to God, that just pisses me off because you're just
You're limiting to
calling everybody
yourself.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at my stuff. I got 87 scale here. I got 64 scale. I got 25 up here. I got I don't know, 1/400 over here, 220. I don't know what it is.
The N scale.
No Z.
Oh, Z scale.
Um,
Wow. You have
let's
Z scale
see.
vehicles?
No
Jeez.
airplanes.
Oh,
Let's see. I don't know if it's. I'm looking for a scale on it. I don't see it. But here's a Ford Trimotor.
oh wow.
Honestly, I don't remember if it's N or Z scale. I can't even see it. Okay, yeah, 1/200 scale. Because
Hmm.
when I got my Z scale stuff last year, I didn't know if I was going to do one of these little Z scale modules and try to hook up with a club around here. We've got several of the N scale modules. Well, it started in Z scale. They do what they call T track, and it is a certain specific dimension module that you assemble them together, make a diorama or a train layout, just like 187 scale vehicle club.
Right,
They
right.
use the dimensions for their modules.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that in Z for a while, and N scale modelers have picked up on it for N scale railroads. And we've
Yeah, I
got a
was
couple of
part
N
of one of
scale
those in
clubs around here.
California. We did
Yeah,
that.
we've got Cascade N scalers, I think it is here. Good. I call it local. They're within 100 miles of me, but they're right
Oh,
around
okay.
here somewhere. I thought about getting into some of that, but I was still on dialysis, and it's like I had dialysis on Saturday, so it's not like you can go to a model train show Saturday afternoon, and it
Right.
just never happened. Nothing worked out. So selling
Well,
planes.
I mean, cars aren't a bad thing to fall back on. I mean, with everything else that's out there, cars and trains is pretty much what, or vehicles and trains is pretty much what moves the world.
Yep, they sure do. But
So,
I figure if nothing else, these little 200 scale planes I got, 240, I got some 300 scales. If nothing else, there'll be a flying giant for 87 scale.
yeah, I
You're
kind
in
of
North
thought,
you're in North Carolina. You ever heard of the Joe Nall radio controlled flying giants championships?
no, but I have seen videos of planes that can fit people in them that are completely RC. Like one person could fit in the plane and literally fly it if they wanted to from inside
That's
of the plane.
That's the kind of airplanes that go to the Joe Nall fly meet in North Carolina.
I didn't even know that was in North
All the
Carolina.
big custom stuff. Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
I back in Tennessee right now. I've got 3 radio control airplanes still sitting there. One of them's got a 2 or 50 cc powered, and one of them's got a bored out 75 cc weed eater motor on it for a power.
What was your address in Tennessee? I want to just make sure they're still there for you.
If you can find it, 4 Mile Creek Road, Tazewell, Tennessee. Good luck.
I'll keep them there.
Yeah. The Piper Cub has a 117-inch wingspan.
Oh my
My
gosh.
Piper Cub. 75 cc motor on it.
Jeez.
Let's see
Yeah,
now.
that's
Your kid's dirt bike's got a 75 cc motor on it.
yeah. I'll let you keep that then. That's a little bit bigger than my scale that I want to deal with.
No, we're just gonna take the little cars and trucks, and that'll be your little paratroopers we draw.
Right. Let's see how fast these could fall.
Let's see. 4th of July weekend, there should be plenty of little parachutes left over around here. All we got to do is go get them.
Right. Yeah. No,
But yeah,
I definitely see like you were saying that people limit themselves to just like one particular scale, but they
and sadly, they get the mindset and just stay in it.
well, that's hobbies in general though. Like you don't have a model railroader that wants to go into like those big jumbo planes. They stay with model railroading. And like
Um,
model car
uh,
builders stay with model cars.
there's a few of us. There's a few
Well,
of us.
I mean in
There's
general
not a
though.
lot. But
Right. In
well,
general,
a
people
lot
usually
of it
stick
is
with one.
a lot of it is their mindset. They
Yeah.
like model railroads. They don't want to try something else. I started out with radio control stuff when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, and it's always stuck with me my entire life. Just like models, I got into that when I was about 6 or so, and been in and out of it, dabbled with it for 30 years. And now that my health is what it is, I've got a lot of free time. Now I'm a stay-at-home dad, and it's one of them things. I can branch out into models now. For
Right.
10 years when I had the kids, it's like, okay, we could play with radio control cars and trucks together. So a lot of my radio control stuff's in the Philippines, and we had a great time playing with all that. And now that I'm back here, it's like, can't get my RC stuff shipped back here. We'll play with models.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, in general, it seems like the people that are into those particular uh, hobbies, they're into it because they love it. You know,
yeah,
there's specific modelers, and then there's hobbyists. You're
yeah,
a hobbyist. You like kind of the
yeah,
spectrum, the broad spectrum of hobbies.
everything.
Yeah, I'm a model car builder. I'm into model cars, no matter the scale. But that's me. I don't want to really build a train. I don't care to build a train set. I definitely don't care to build an RC car or a plane or a helicopter. I don't care about the boats or the submarines. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm a car guy, and
Yeah,
that's me. I just stick with the cars and the model cars, not like radio controlled stuff. I don't care
yeah,
that they move. That doesn't do nothing for me.
yeah. Well, for me, it does. If I have a train set, I want to see some animation. The train goes round and round and round and round. That's great animation.
Well, that
But
makes sense.
when I can turn the switch and turn on my little radio control truck right here
Yeah.
and drive around on the train set also, that makes it a lot better for me.
No, it definitely does bring realism to the hobby as well.
And
So
then if
that makes sense.
if I'm playing with the train, my son can drive the truck, or vice versa, or whatever. I mean, it's it just combines other things and brings people of other interests into it and can combine them.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, think about people that are building RC cars, like say 118 scale, 1/6 scale RC cars, and then you show them this 180 or 187 scale car that's RC, and they're like, What? How is that even possible? The parts on my 1/8 scale car is already tiny enough. They made them 100 times smaller?
Exactly. Exactly. And then you take somebody and you set down an 87 scale HORC car and you drive it down, you wait for the train to go across, and then you go across the crossing. And yeah, it just incorporates a lot of other stuff if somebody wants to.
It does.
And
It definitely
it's always
does.
been my dream to just have it all, and me and my kids just play with it all together.
Well, I mean, with the amount of stuff you have all over the world, Lou, you do kind of have it all. You just don't have it all with you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the next step, is to get everything that you have
Yeah,
all with you.
back in the Philippines, I've got on my railroad everything from Z through G.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then the G, I was gonna do a custom switcher body and make it a narrow gauge 1/16 scale, because all the radio controlled 18 wheelers and the radio controlled tanks I have are all 1/14 and 1/16 scale.
That would make sense because G scale scales out to 1/25 or 1/24 anyways.
Yeah,
So that
well,
would make sense. That would.
between all the different brands, G is from 122.5, I think it is, all the way down to 128.
Oh,
They
wow.
from
See, now you're
the
just going into
different brands over the
specifics.
years. Well, it just
I'm doing a rod spectrum.
yeah. No, that many manufacturers over the years, I mean, it gets nuts trying to keep up with which brand G do you have. But I don't have G.
Wow.
It's narrow gauge 1/16.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's a new version. Get off my
Yeah,
back.
absolutely.
Well, I think that'd be a lot like the narrow gauge HO scale,
Yeah,
because the train itself isn't HO scale anymore, but the track is still HO scale. So it's the same thing.
yeah,
It's like you have HO scale, and people are like, I need to make the train bigger, but keep the track the same size to give it a narrow gauge. Let's
yeah,
work on a whole line of that stuff. And so that
yeah,
would be like your narrow gauge 1/16 scale.
yeah. Because they've got the S narrow gauge, which runs on HO track, and then
Hmm.
they've got the O gauge 1/48 scale that'll also run on HO track.
Yeah,
So
that, and I'll tell you what, man, out of all the hobbies out there, model trains has got to be the most unique with the amount of offerings there is for almost from G scale and smaller to even bigger scales where they're like live steamer scales. You know,
absolutely. And
it's
oh yeah,
so vast.
here's the kicker. I've got a live steam club um down around Port Angeles or Seattle. I've got a live steamer club an hour and a half away from me, not far at all.
Well, I got
I
it
should
better. When I lived in California, I lived literally 1 block away from a live steamer club. We went there like
oh
once a month.
man.
Yeah.
Oh
And they
wow.
would have a once a year meetup where hundreds of them came from all over Southern California and sometimes from the West Coast, just period.
Yeah, there used to be a huge live steam club and rail club down there in Chattanooga, Tennessee, just outside of Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Used to be a real big one, but I don't know. I assume they're still around, but I don't know. I
Right.
haven't kept up with them since I left.
I never really, I, I never really been into it to want to be part of the club, but I always admired the fact that these were real live, small little tiny steam engines or
Oh
diesel
yeah,
engines. And the fact that they scaled everything down to work the same way as the big ones did, or just converted to like gas or oil or whatever
yeah,
they're using, but their steam engines still that work the same exact way as a big one does.
yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You really want to have your mind blown? Go to the Craftsmanship Museum. It can be linked to. There's a link through Shearline website for Shearline tabletop lathes and mills. Um, I think it's Shearline Craftsmanship Museum. Oh my Lord, some of the work they've got in there that people have done with Shearline machines. Wow. It will just blow your mind apart.
What is a shear line machine?
You know what a mill and a lathe is, right?
Yeah.
Shearline is a manufacturing brand that makes small tabletop models.
Oh, okay.
And I've got both a mill and a lathe. They're Shearline brand, but they are in the Philippines.
Oh, great place
But
for them for right now.
oh, when I planned on living there till I was dead, yeah, it was a wonderful place for them.
Right. Yeah.
Now that
Well,
I'm stuck here, no, it's pretty bad. It sucks for me.
right. Well, yeah, we need to
But
get all your models into one place.
yeah,
And
that
depending on where you
Shearline
move,
fastener
they
shit.
can travel with you.
It'd take the act of Congress and a lot of hand of God to get everything I got there back here.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure it would.
then I would honestly have to own property here to be able to have it. I mean,
Right.
I've got that much over there.
That's
So
amazing. Yeah, I don't have that much.
in all reality, I'll probably die here and never get to play with my model stuff over there again.
Well,
As sad as it sounds, that's a distinct possibility.
yeah, but
But
maybe
it
you
just
can
means my in-laws got some real cool toys.
that, and maybe you can just somehow replace it with something else out here, or something. Who knows?
I'm trying with molding and rosin, but it ain't the same.
No, it definitely isn't.
With,
But,
with, with silicone and rosin, I can't sit down and carve steel and aluminum.
very true. But maybe one of these military people have something like that they have to get deployed real quick from, and you might be able to acquire one. Something, maybe. Who knows?
I'm still watching. A couple
Yeah.
summers ago, there was one came up for sale, and no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't scrape up the money for it. So it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah,
Next
that
one, maybe.
happens.
Next one,
I was
maybe. It's one of them things.
I was working for a company that used a lathe, and I thought that thing was so neat. The possibilities are so vast with what you can do with that. And I thought, how can I get one? And then I thought, if I had it, I wouldn't use it. So it doesn't matter how many possibilities there are, the amount of extra stuff you have to get to just use it with what you need to build something with, or grind something, carve something down with. I probably wouldn't use it anyways, but it's a neat
Mm,
idea.
you'd be surprised how simple they are,
Well,
even
no,
to
it was
make
simple.
relatively. I mean, as far as tooling goes, a few basic pieces, and it's amazing what you can do with them. I
Well,
mean,
I
it's
mean, I've
get
got
get
this 3D printer I still haven't done nothing with. So,
well now that's computers and all kinds of electronics and programming and design work and
right.
no, I'll take a mill or a lathe 100 to 1 over a 3D printer. I don't have the mental capability, capacity, or interest to sit down and learn 3D design to be able to do 3D modeling.
Oh, me neither. I was telling
To
a
have,
few
I don't
people,
have the patience to hook one up and print.
this is how I want my 3D printer to work. And I only want to use it if it gets to this point. I want to have a picture of the image or the design I want. I want to take my finger and drag it over to the printer icon, click it, and then it prints that thing out just like that. That's how I want my 3D printer to work. And that's the only
Yeah.
way I really want to use this 3D printer if it gets to that point. And it's not anywhere close to that quite yet.
Well,
So it's going to sit there.
there's a big learning curve for a lot of stuff involved, and once you get that, it'll be that simple.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I feel like I definitely have, like, say, a senior citizen's brain, like an old person where they just don't want to learn nothing else and they're just fed up with everything and they just want things to be the way they used to be. My
Yep.
brain is there a lot of the time. Like, I don't want to learn how to use this 3D printer. Just give me a picture and let me slide it to the printer picture. Done. I mean,
Yep.
I see it in my head as being that simple. Let's make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean there.
But yeah, man, this is wow. It's already that late. This has been fun. I I really like talking to you. You and me have a lot in common, and
Yeah.
a lot more than I didn't know before. Cool.
It's small world. It's amazing how people are.
Yeah. Um, Real quick though, what's your favorite car? Like in general, like real big car or small car or whatever. Like, do you have a favorite?
I would have to say my absolute number one favorite would be a flat fendered Willys MB or GPW military Jeep.
Oh,
That
mm,
is my number one absolute favorite. I've got five of them. I did have five sitting on a farm in Tennessee. My number two favorite would be the Mark One, Mark Two Austin Minis, classic minis. I really like the Mark Twos better than the Mark One because Mark One was a solid steel grill. Mark Two, they were removable. Mark Two
uh-huh.
all the way up until late 90s when they quit making them. They were
Hmm,
all very similar, and I
right.
love minis. Whether it's Austin, British Leyland, Morris, Rover, I have no preference. I love a mini. And then
That's
after
awesome.
that, huh?
I said that's awesome.
And then after that, I would say my 1964 or 1966 Mercury.
That's cool too.
That's probably my three favorite. After that, you start getting Mopar muscle cars and 55 Chevy and say 53 Chevy. You start getting a lot contending for fourth, fifth, and sixth place.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But my first three would be a Willys, a Mini, a classic Mini, well, a classic body style Mini, and then a 64 or 66 Mercury. 65, the front turn signals were just god awful hideous like Aunt Bertha. I mean, no, thank you.
I didn't know Aunt Bertha was hideous, but cool. Okay.
After she got hit by a Mack truck, she was.
So,
I believe Uncle Eddie beat her with an ugly stick.
I did get two Jeeps from you, resin Jeeps that you casted. Are those, I don't know nothing about Jeeps. Are those, is that what you were talking about?
Yep,
That you liked? That type of Jeep?
yep, yep,
Because
Willie's.
I know that
I
Tom Hart is looking to get like a Jeep.
well, I
I
am in
think
the
he said he was getting a
process.
Jeep.
I'm in the process of redoing my mold, but I'll hopefully I'll have the flat fendered Willys again.
Okay. That's cool, man.
And he looking for
Hey,
model Jeeps or real Jeep?
uh, oh, he's looking for a real one, but
Oh,
that's
like what?
like
A Willys or
I only know like one style of Jeep besides these new truck Jeeps that are coming out in real life,
oh
which I mean obviously you know the Wrangler and you know the Cherokee, but I don't know those cars really. So when you say Jeep, I think of like that old military Jeep that they used in MASH and every other TV
yeah.
show and movie before that.
When I say Jeep, I am using the generic term that World War II GIs and Vietnam GIs came up with to nickname the general purpose utility vehicle that Willys and Ford produced for World War II and afterwards.
Got you. Those are the
Yeah,
cool ones.
if I'm talking about a AMC brand CJ5, I'll call it CJ5, or a CJ7's a CJ7, or a Wrangler's a Wrangler, or a Grand Cherokee's a Grand Cherokee. When I say a Jeep, I'm talking about a Willys flat fender. And that, but my close friends and my family that know me know when I'm talking about a Jeep, I am
That's what
not
you're
talking
talking
about
about.
anything produced newer than after AMC sold or after Willys sold out. And
Nice.
even the Willys, the first CJ5s, I don't even like those. I don't like the round fenders. So yeah, I'm a classic man all the way with a Jeep.
Well, I'm a classic man with cars in general, so it works good for me.
Amen.
But Lou, this was a pleasure talking to you. Um, I'd love to have you on in the future again, if you're up to it. I don't have a
Oh,
specific time or date, just say future. And
you,
then,
You know how to
Yeah.
get in touch with me. My battery's down to 9, so
Oh,
I know it's
perfect
getting late.
timing then.
It's getting late for you out there too, so I
Yeah,
understand.
perfect timing. But all right, everybody. This is Half-Ass Presents the podcast. This has been Lou Wee, and this podcast is over. You
Later.
all have a great day.